Hi everyone, this is Emily Leiphart here for Tailored Expressions, and in today's video I'm showing projects using the ingredients from the Happy Hex card kit. Here's a look at what you get with this super fun kit. As with all of the great Tailored Expressions kits, everything comes in a 9-inch by 13-inch pouch with the name of the kit and the Tailored Expressions logo. The first ingredient is the stack of 6 mini Slimline card bases and a rainbow of mini Slimline envelopes. I love drawing my inspiration from the colors provided in the content of these kits. Next are the envelope seals with a rainbow of colors and a spot in the center to stamp a sentiment or monogram. The 4-inch by 6-inch stamp set is called Typewriter Alpha and has all the letters and punctuation for monogramming and customizing your cards. The mini 3-inch by 4-inch stamp set has everything you need to fill in the blanks on the amazing stencil that comes with this kit. It has 6 different sentiments, cute shapes, and other patterns for the hexagons. There's a coordinating Happy Hex die set for the mini stamp set. You can use the stamp set and stencil with or without the dies for versatility and layering. There's also a belly band die for the gift box, and this comes in 2 parts so you can adjust it to suit the size of your gift. Next, we have the Happy Hex Mini Slim Background Stamp, and I absolutely love this graphic pattern. The largest hexagon is located in a sweet spot at 1/3 of the way from either the top or bottom of the stamp. You can stamp this in either direction, depending on whether you want your monogram or sentiment to be at the top or bottom of your card design. Then we have the Happy Hex Mini Slim Stencil, which coordinates perfectly with the background stamp. Finally, there's a clear gift box that fits all 6 cards, envelopes, seals, and anything else you might want to include in your gift set, like pre-cut custom sentiments, etc. The belly band die fits around this box, and you can also use it without the box for future card sets. I love that these mini slim card bases open up from the bottom because they're such a unique shape, and it's impossible to create these on your own unless you have legal size cardstock to cut lengthwise. This kit comes with 6 sugar cube mini slim card bases and 6 mini slim envelopes in a rainbow assortment. I'm drawing my color inspiration from these envelopes. Let's get started on this gift set. The first thing I'm going to do is place the Happy Hex Mini Slim background in my Misty stamping tool with the large hex at the top. Since this is a rubber cling stamp, I've removed the foam insert from my Misty. Please note that even though my stamp is right in the corner of the Misty, the stamping surface of the stamp does not reach the very edge, so I will offset my cardstock about 2/3 of a Misty square from the left and the bottom edge. To hold the card base in place, I roll up a piece of washi tape and place it on the back of the card base. I was able to reuse this for all of the cards. I'll be heat embossing this background, so I use a magic bag or powder tool so the embossing powder only sticks to the ink for clear, crisp lines. Then I ink up the background using Versamark watermark ink, and I do this twice to make sure it stamps evenly. Next, I pour diamond embossing powder over the watermark ink and tap it off over the garbage to limit the mess on my work surface. Then I heat set it with my heat tool. Since this is a large surface and I don't want the card base to warp, I turned my heat tool on before I stamped and applied powder so it would be at maximum heat. This keeps the heat setting time at a minimum and the powder melts immediately. I also try to keep the heat tool as far away from the cardstock as possible. As you can see, when I'm done, there's no warping at all. You can see here how the card base remains flat and how the embossing powder created the most beautiful sparkly effect. It's subtle, but the recipient will definitely be wowed by it. After I stamp and heat emboss all 6 cards, I can move on to the stenciling. There's an etched line around the big hexagon that fits on the inside of the stamped background. If you stamp the background with black or any dark colored ink, you'll be able to line up the stencil more easily. I promise that it's not as hard as it appears on screen, especially since I used clear embossing ink and powder for my background. Next, I bring in my 6 ink colors and coordinating blender brushes. I'm going to create an ombre stenciled effect from top to bottom in rainbow order. Since there are 7 rows of hexagons and only 6 colors, I'm going to overlap the colors in all of the rows except the top and bottom, and I'll explain that as I go. I start with watermelon ink for the top row, starting off the edge and blending from the top right-hand corner. I bring in a teeny bit of watermelon into the top edge of the second row before switching to sweet potato pie and ink blending the second row of hexagons. After finishing the second row, I bring in a touch of that ink color into the top of the third row and switch to lemon meringue to ink blend the third row of hexagons. I add a touch of lemon meringue at the top of the fourth row and switch to lime zest. After finishing the row of lime zest hexagons, I ink blend a teeny bit of lime zest at the top of the fifth row and switch to sprinkles ink, which I carry into the sixth row before finishing with jelly donut ink. When the entire stencil is done, I can go back and add ink where needed to make sure all colors have the same saturation. Here's how the card looks when I remove the stencil. Isn't it beautiful? I just love this ombre rainbow effect. When I first moved on to the second stenciling, I didn't clean the stencil and some of the ink colors ended up contaminating each other, so I did wipe the stencil clean for the rest of the cards. After all the stenciling is done, I can use the Happy Hex mini stamp set to add details to the stenciled hexagons, as well as the main sentiments for each of the cards. I'm going to start by stamping the large outline hexagon in the center. I'm using Oreo ink and stamping it twice to get a crisp impression. Then I use the filler stamps for the smaller hexagons to create details on one hexagon from each colored line. I use the coordinating ink color to stamp the details. I start by stamping the wonky lines in watermelon, then dots in sweet potato. For the lemon meringue heart, lime zest flower, and sprinkle star, I stamp these solid images twice to get a better saturation, and so they show up better on the ink-blended hexagons. I finished with the open hexagon in sprinkles and the straight lines in jelly donut off screen. Now I start stamping the sentiments in the large hexagon. I picked 3 of the 6 sentiments and I'm stamping each one twice so the recipient will receive 2 of the same cards for 3 different occasions. The black and white is simple but really stands out with all the rainbow colors. Oh Happy Day can be used for birthdays or as a random pick-me-up. Miss You is perfect for the lack of contact with friends right now. And thank you cards are always appreciated. When the cards are done, I use StazOn ink to stamp the same sentiments on the envelope seals. The easiest way to pop the clear box into a 3D shape is to roll the edges and crease the other 2 corners at the same time. Next, I tuck in the 2 little flaps and crease the big flap to close the bottom of the box. I do the same thing at the top but leave it open for now since I'll be adding the contents. I have my 6 cards and coordinating envelopes. I place all those inside the gift box and I can add the envelope seals, but before I do that I'm going to use the belly band dies and create a monogrammed wrap for the box itself. First I die cut the band from jelly donut cardstock, and next I'm stamping the letter C using sugar cube ink on lime zest cardstock. Then I'm heat embossing it with white embossing powder. Next, I stamp the outline hexagon that I used on the cards and also heat emboss this in white. Unfortunately, when it came time to die cutting this, I discovered that the die is an exact fit to the stamp and would therefore be best die cut then stamped. I lost part of the beautiful heat embossed line, so I re-stamped it and used my scissors to cut it out, which was quick enough. If I happened to be mass producing these, I would rather die cut than re-stamp. You'll see that I ended up switching to a lemon meringue belly band, but really any of these colors would have looked great. You can see that there are 2 score lines on both the top and bottom pieces of the band. I use a bone folder to flatten these folds. I use double-sided tape to adhere the monogrammed hexagon to the front of the belly band. Then I insert the envelope seals behind the envelopes so they're visible from the back of the gift box. I close the box and then I add 1/4-inch score tape to the ends of the top half of the belly band and secure it to the bottom half of the belly band. When it's secure, I pull it up so the monogram on the band covers the sentiment on the cards in the box. At this point, you can add ribbon or other embellishments or leave it as is. I have always loved making card sets to give away, and I'm really excited that Tailored Expressions has come up with this all-in-one card kit especially for gift giving. I hope you're inspired to create with the Happy Hex card kit. This is such a fun kit, whether you're creating an amazing gift to give away or creating cards for yourself. I can't wait to see what you come up with. You can find all of these products in the Tailored Expressions web store at tailoredexpressions.com. I'll see you again soon. Thanks so much for watching.